Now, the people who you are going to be watching and hearing from in this movie are miracle workers. These people have cured medically incurable diseases. We are the tip of a vast iceberg. People all over the world, people you never see, don't hear about, thousands of us. And we're in this movie to tell you to boycott pharmaceuticals. Cure it yourself, because you can. You don't need to take anything. You don't need to buy anything to cure cancer or herpes. Take your power back. The power that you gave away to the experts, the doctors, who told you they didn't have a cure. They told you that there is no cure for what you've got. And you were willing to take anything that they would give you. So you took some drug that they told you wasn't going to cure it, but you took it anyway. And now you can stop and take your power back and stop paying the protection money every month. Because anything we've done, you can do. And yes, we get negative medical tests on these diseases. We get tested by doctors. We just don't take the drugs. Just say no to drugs. And when we get a negative medical test, the doctor just can't understand where the disease went. And we do know and have known some wonderful doctors who were very supportive of this and of us doing this. Join with us now in friendship and allow us to give this to you. Let us pass it along to you, pay it forward, what was given to us. And when you start doing this, you'll know that this works 100% of the time for everybody. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you can't do it. Now I want Al and Barb and Maribel to tell Darren why she needs the Cure team.
I think it's very important for you to have the energy and the catalyst, the catalyst that other people can provide for you in your creating your cure. I think it's really important that you have that your son has people that he sees curing things, so he remembers that can happen. That you remember that can happen, and that there's people who are just kind of like don't give up in your life. People that believe it can be done, that are doing it every day. And then you have fresh results to see.
And yeah, and people who do it themselves and know that it can be done.
In my breast, I had a nodule. It was gone.
So you made a nodule in your breast disappear?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, well, it's important to surround yourself with people that are curing and of higher dimensional people that are working on themselves, because it speeds your cure and it raises your dimension. You end up being part of a group immune system.
Well, tell her what you've cured.
What I've cured?
Yeah.
Well, I used to weigh 385 pounds. I now weigh about 235. From that, I got congestive heart failure, diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, and of course I've lost the weight. My blood pressure is, my last checks, as of last Friday, my blood pressure was normal, my blood sugar was normal.
You cured.
I had some mobility deficits, but
you cured diabetes, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I get normal blood tests, and my blood sugar every morning is within the normal range, my fasting blood sugar.
So basically you got a negative medical test on diabetes.
Yes, and on high blood pressure, which I've had since I was 16. They said my liver had failed.
Really?
And they were gonna put me on dialysis, and they said they were gonna give me a day or two to see if I, you know, if it came back on its own. So I just immediately started working on it.
Right.
And then the following day they did a test and it was fine.
Wow. Oh, so you worked on it with IMMUNICS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Barb, what about you? What have you cured?
I've mostly cured. I'm really good at curing viral-based diseases and cancers. I believe that I kind of am pretty good at removing my own cancer and the cancers of others. I've cured clinically Epstein-Barr, the chronic fatigue virus-related virus, herpes simplex, HSV1, no longer appears on my blood tests. I also...
You're exactly like me. Like, that's what happened to me. The first day that I took my herpes out, I had a herpes outbreak,
Right.
which then went away, and I never had another one.
Right.
And that's you. That's you too, I guess, basically, right?
Kind of. Because actually, I almost literally had one. I thought that I was watching it happen, and then I did IMMUNICS, and it went away.
Right.
That was pretty amazing, actually. That was a really liberating feeling.
And you've been doing IMMUNICS for about 3 weeks, right?
No, I started, it'll be 2 weeks this Wednesday.
And you were having continuous outbreaks.
Yeah, for about, since February 23rd, I guess.
And it's now May 2nd.
Yeah.
So you were having continuous outbreaks, and you immediately, like basically from the first day, cured your herpes, and you know, but it's when we say, people don't understand what we mean by curing your herpes.
Right.
Because cure, it's like, you know how the Eskimos have like 52 words for snow?
Yes.
Well, like, we have only one word for 52 kinds of cure.
Absolutely.
Like, we just call everything cure. So when you get your negative medical test, that's a cure. And when you, you know, like after your negative medical test, when you stop ever finding herpes in your bodies again, that's a cure, and so on. All these things are cures, and your cure right now is you've cured your symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only into it for 2 weeks. And see, my herpes, I only had outbreaks every 3 to 5 months. So, like, you have to picture this. Like, for me to know that I'd actually really accomplished anything, for me to really know that, I had to go 7 months without a herpes outbreak.
Right.
And then I could say, well, shit, you know, I was supposed to have one. At least it had to come 2 months ago, and probably more like 4 months ago, and I haven't had one, so that means I've cured it. Except what I realized is that it's not cured until you stop finding it. In the sense that most people want to cure their herpes. Mm-hmm. See, most people think they want a negative medical test.
Right.
And then when they're doing this and they get a negative medical test, because a lot of us have gotten negative medical tests, you know, but then you realize, well, if you still find the herpes, it's still there, and you'll end up with a positive medical test if you don't take it out. So you have to keep taking it out for years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, it was like I stopped finding it after almost 2 years.
Right.
So that's the deal, you know, that's where you're going. But you're doing great.
Well, thank you. I saw in your video you said, you were talking about cancer patients, and you said, you know, these people would make a deal to get 2 years as long as, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that, you know, that struck a chord.
Well, sure, because, you know, herpes is completely incurable, and no one ever cures it other than this. This is the only cure for herpes, what you're doing.
Right. That's great. It's, you know, it's...
Yes, I also have a titanium in my spine too, Darren. I think you knew that, right? And yeah, I have 12 vertebrae fused with Harrington rods, it's called. So I have, you know, only probably 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 vertebrae that move at all. The rest are...
Didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that happened when I was 17. and I wore a back brace for 4 years. Yeah. And that, you know, I sort of managed the pain, and there was some situations related to that, for the most part, using this. But what I learned doing that, and that's actually how I started, was I was working on my back, and then I started learning that the place that I took myself to relieve the pain was the same place from which I could kill viruses and remove cancers and that kind of thing.
I'm filming this and I'm going to put it on YouTube. And just so people know about you and Barb, Darren, you know, you guys go back a long way, and there was a time when Barb helped you beat back your cancer, yes?
Yeah.
Long ago. Yeah. And that's what we want to do again, except now not just with one friend, but with a whole team of people.
Can I just share a strategy tip about talking about your cures?
Sure.
Like, don't be, like, just talk about them and be proud of them. You don't have to boast, but don't be reticent about it, because when you talk about your cures, you're actually reinforcing them. It's an immunic action.
Right.
It's like saying the prayer in a prayer meeting.
That's true.
So always talk positively and powerfully about your cures.
This is Darren, who is just at the beginning of curing breast and bone cancer. She's been working with us at this filming for about a week or so, maybe 10 days. So give her a listen and you will hear what that's been like for her. Just now, is the trauma cleared?
Yes.
Okay, it probably just took a minute. Now, you seem different. Are you different?
I feel kind of more present. And...
Well, you look totally different.
I do.
Yes, you look like a lot flatter.
Huh.
Just a lot flatter than you were. Like nothing going on, you know, no happy, no sad, no upset, no fear, no nothing. Just like flat.
Yeah, that sounds...
More in your body.
What, Al?
More in her body. She looks more in her body.
Uh-huh.
Like she's not trying to jump out of her skin.
We call this a big bang. It's like, you know, you actually took something out that was, you know, like fundamental enough, so for a while there's just nothing there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like an absence of anything. Okay, now the way you just saw Darren be, that's you know, that's what we call a good feeling. See, it's like a meditative state that you go into when you've cured something, and she cured a trauma, and that's your natural state. That's the way you're supposed to look all the time, because that's the way it, you know, people use meditation like that. Meditation is an artificial way of bringing yourself to the place where you're always supposed to be in every moment of your life. What you saw, the way you saw Darren be, that's what you're supposed to look like. And that's a signal. That means you've cured something, that clear, empty, meditative state. See, and I know, see, you're here, but you don't want to be watching this. You don't want to hear any of this stuff. You're here because the doctor didn't have a pill. He didn't have a cure for you or whatever it was. So you came to, you know, you decided to go snake oil, right? You know, let me see what the snake oil salesmen have, you know. So, all right, let me tell you how this is going to go for you, okay? If you succeed and, you know, like bore into this, dig in, and, you know, like, okay, this is how it's going to go. Like right now, I'm telling you, you're a miracle worker. And that's how you're going to cure this. You're going to work a miracle, and you're saying, hey, wow, inspiring, you know. Or, I'm skeptical, or whatever, you know. I don't know how you're reacting, but it's not real. This isn't real for you, you know. You're listening. I mean, you're here, you know, you're listening. Maybe you got an iPhone, so you don't have to run, you don't have to get away from your computer. You can just wander around listening, you know. So right now, this is an inspirational lecture. And it might make you feel good, but it's not going to cure you. This is not going to cure you, listening to me, just so you know. Okay, just in case you were wondering, I'm supposed to listen to this guy and my cancer will disappear. No, it's not going to happen. So you gotta have to actually do this, see? But see, what it's going to be like is when you do this, it still won't be real. And then you'll do it again and it still won't be real. And you'll do it again and it'll, you know, maybe it'll get a little, like there'll be a point where you go, wow, that was a miracle. Like the way I changed there, the way I felt instantly in a second, it just turned around. That's a miracle, you know. And you're going to start realizing, okay, I worked a miracle. One little tiny, I didn't get a negative medical test yet, but I worked a little tiny miracle. Okay, you're working up to the negative medical test, you know, right? That's what you got to do. I mean, so okay, you have to work up to it. So, see, and then like when you get to the point, okay, let's say you get to the point where you feel like the way Darren was feeling, you know. And you're going to like that feeling. There's going to be a place where you say, okay, this was worth it. You know, even if I never get a negative medical test, this was worth it. You know, just feeling, I have never felt this, because you'll be saying, like, I've never felt this good in my life. You know? So, okay, so you go, so you get to that point, and then you're going to see, this will happen again and again, and you're going to start saying, okay, I'm a miracle worker. See, then it will be real. It's going to, there comes a point when it's real for you. And then one day, okay, this is what you're really waiting for, the place you want to get to. One day you wake up in the morning and you're saying, oh God, oh no, oh, and the kids are coming and I gotta shop. Oh my God, I have so much to do. Oh, what am I gonna? And then all of a sudden you're gonna say, wait a minute, I'm a miracle worker. I can have a good day. Today can be a great day. You know, and here I was thinking it was going to be the worst day of my life, and this is going to be a great day. And then it's real, see? And I can tell you that because I'm giving you the benefit of my experience. See, that's how all my days start. I just say, where do I want to go today? You know, like the IBM ad, you know? I'm a miracle worker. So as you can see, this introduction this is your first lesson and your most important lesson, because this is where you're getting the view that you need of this, you know, like so that you can see the forest. Then we can start looking at the trees later, you know, but right now you need to see the forest, okay? Because this is how you're supposed to be, and this is the way it's supposed to go for you, okay? You're supposed to be one of these people that you've been watching, you know? That's where you want to go. See, right now you're outside of the movie, looking in and saying, oh, wow, those guys are amazing. I want to be one of them. And at some point, what you want is you want to be inside the movie, looking out and saying, hey, I made it, I'm here, okay? See, a lot of people came in here and they saw those people, you know, like maybe different ones, but the people that you're looking at, and they said, I want to be one of those people, see, because they want to cure something, you know? So it's about being unlimited, you know, you are unlimited. So why don't we just try something, okay? I want you to look for a signal coming through one of your hands, and you're going to ask a question. And I don't want to tell you too much about what the signal is going to be, but it will be involuntary and unusual, okay? And so the question is, am I happy? About you, okay? I'm happy, obviously, so you don't have to ask about me. So you're going to ask this about you. Ask, am I happy? And see if you get a signal. And that's what it is to get a signal, okay? It would be, you know, something, you know, an unusual, you know, thing in your hand, feeling or whatever. if you don't get anything, and I know you're probably doing that right now to test this out, and if you don't get anything, there's nothing happening, everything seems very usual, nothing out of the ordinary in either of your hands, don't worry about it. You may be getting a signal, because that's no. See, when nothing happens, that is the no signal. So it means you're not happy, which is understandable because you came in here with a disease to cure and you're probably feeling kind of lousy and not at all happy, you know. And so if you want to, you know, you're going to learn probably how to get signals and do this during this movie. And I just want to reassure you that there is more information than what's in this movie about signals. I'll just show you. Okay, this will be easier for you if I show it to you. It will just take a second. This is the home page of curedrive.org. This is where you're supposed to be right now. That's the web address. You can see underneath it, it has a tally. That number is the number of cures since 2004. Most people do not report their cures. Right above it is a place to report your cure. You see that little link right there? So when you cure something, report it. Okay? Now this is the home page. This is what it looks like. The movie that you're looking at there, this photo right there, this is the movie that you are watching. See, that's actually a movie. You notice it's running now? And right next to it, see, you should be on this page watching this movie. Right next to it, there's a link that says IMMUNICS Signal Movies. Now, if I click on that link, what I get is a whole page of movies of people getting signals. They're all different people, different signals. And so that is where if you want to, some of these are 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, and you can hear how different people get different signals. Everyone's signal is unique. Okay, so you should probably continue listening right now to this. I'm going to tell you a story, and also you're going to be able to get some practice during this movie too. So you can, just hang in there, enjoy. See, people think of miracles always as happening outside of reality. They're this thing that's, beyond reality. But see, actually, reality is a miracle. And what's going to happen as you learn this, see, you're not necessarily going to learn IMMUNICS, You were thinking, oh, I'll learn IMMUNICS and I'll cure my... Actually, no. What learning IMMUNICS is actually you're going to access reality in a way that you never did before. And you're going to find out that what you thought was real wasn't, and what you didn't ever realize, you never dreamed what could be. See, that most of the causes of your disease are things that you could never imagine in a million years. And you're going to find them and remove them. That's what's going to happen. So, because, anyway, so you're going to perceive the causes. And let's say you have herpes of your herpes and erase them. So there won't be anything causing herpes in you anymore. How come I haven't had a herpes outbreak since 1993? Because I was having them, every few months. I didn't have the awful kind of herpes that I see some people have, but I was having them every few months for, 28 years. 1966 I got it from a nurse. And I cured it in 93. Yeah. I was having outbreaks all that time. Do you know that when I got herpes, there was no medical test for herpes? Did you know that? The tests were, I think they were all developed in the 90s for herpes. What you did, I went to the hospital. They scraped it, They put it under a microscope. There were all these interns looking at it. You know, I don't think very many people had herpes back in those days. It may have been a rare see, another thing is I moved in with another nurse. And she kept wanting to have sex with me, and I kept saying, no, the doctor said this is contagious, you can't do that. And she was, I'm not going to catch it. See, I don't think people realized they didn't know very much about herpes. Like, there were all these interns, I could hear them. I was in the exam room, and they were in the next room, and they were going, let me see. They were looking at it through the scope. Then the guy walks in, and he says, it's incurable. I said, what? Okay. I mean, I was devastated. I'm laughing now, but I mean, people call me, and they were just feeling horrible, and I was too, back then, that day. That was a bad day. And this girl is she's 4.5 years old.
She's 4.5 years old. She knows where all the organs are and the glands. She knows the names. She knows how to test other people, to test herself.
Wow.
And before eating something, she has to test it, because once she starts going to school, we will not be there to see what she's going to eat,
Uh-huh.
It's very risky for her, because she's very allergic. And then she has to test.
So she has a lot of allergies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. She has to test everything that she's going to eat. I have been teaching her since some time ago.
And she's 4.5, and she's testing these things when you're not with her?
Yeah, she knows how to test everything.
Is simply saying what we've cured, because when people watch these things, they don't realize what this is or what we're about. So I'll give you an example. I've cured 2 kinds of herpes. I had HSV1 and 2. I had both, lip and genital. I got it in '66, and I cured it in 1993. And so I've been herpes free for 18 years. Barb was supposed to be on here, and she got a negative medical test on herpes, but I guess I don't see her on Skype, so I guess we're not going to have her here today, but I'm giving her share for her. And also, I haven't had a flu since I cured my herpes. So I have not had a cold since 1993. So that's just a couple of things that I've cured. And I'd like to go around and have you share in a really simple way what you've cured since you've been doing IMMUNICS, what you've cured with IMMUNICS. And I'd like to start with Rosella. You've been doing it for about 3 years, right?
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
Okay, and so what have you cured since you started with IMMUNICS?
I cured the flu. I usually feel it coming now.
Right.
And as I teach to people, being in touch with students, it happens to me to have a lot of people in a room with me with the flu.
Right.
And I can feel something, and I start removing immediately. And all the past year, all my students have been down with the flu, and I haven't, not even once.
That's a great accomplishment, because then they don't lose their teacher for 3 days while
Yeah,
they're out with the flu, see?
And they don't have a sick teacher passing the flu on them, which is even better.
Passing the flu to them, that's right.
Yes.
Then they don't want to come to class.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
And then I have cured anxiety attacks. And every time I started to get anxious, I stopped in the middle of what I was doing, and I removed anxiety from all my bodies. And I still do that.
Okay.
And I cured, I think it was an infection in one tooth, because my gums started swelling, and it hurt a lot. And I took pills, and I removed the pain, the infection, and everything. and nothing happened. And then one day I went to school. It was really difficult for me to speak because of the pain in my tooth. And anyway, I had my lesson, and out of the blue, at the end of the lesson, I started talking about IMMUNICS to my students. And I asked them to try testing. And they did. They were quite interested.
Oh, great.
While I was on my way home, I realized that the toothache was completely gone.
Oh, interesting.
And I tested if I had done an immunic action, talking about IMMUNICS to my students, and I got yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as
so
you
you're
know,
saying what you're saying is you're saying that telling other people about IMMUNICS is curative.
Yes.
Like you tell them and you cure something.
Yes, and let me tell you that it happened more than a time. I have this student, Grace. She comes once a week. And I told her about IMMUNICS, and she uses it for everything, absolutely everything. And sometimes she comes to lesson and she's not feeling very well, she's worried, or she's feeling down. So at the end of the lesson, while I'm having a break, we do IMMUNICS together, we connect, and I try to channel what to ask her to do. And when we finish, she's feeling better, and I'm feeling great.
Sally in California, I helped her when she was rejecting her transplanted liver, so she didn't have to have another operation, and she could actually live with her liver, and that was in 1993, 1994, so it's been a long time, and she's healthy.
And also, let's see your shirt.
Sciatica.
Let's see your shirt. Okay.
I actually have my T-shirt. Can you see that? I don't have my camera on here.
Okay. No, we see it. I got it.
Okay.
Got it.
And I cured a flu. I had outright raging flu, and I stopped it like that. It took focus for about like 5 minutes, and then it was gone. And then the rest of the day, I said, "Okay, is it still out? Still out?" It was gone. But it would have had me for a week or two.
All right. I'm sure there's more, but that's good enough for you for now. Now let's go to Franny. What have you?
I've been since 1993, and I haven't really had any flu or cold since then.
Angela, tell us what you have cured since you started. How long? It's been about 2 months, right?
Yeah, I just barely started, and I haven't really had a lot of stuff. I don't really have anything major.
Yeah.
But I have cured some pain in my knee. In fact, while I was riding my bike, it was coming back, and I would actually work on it on my bike, and it would go away.
Oh,
but
good.
For me, it's been more just, I can just tell I'm a different person.
Okay. So we get the idea that we've cured things. Now, I want to ask a question and put this out. Let's throw this question out to everybody. Does curing things require a large investment of your time? Anybody who wants to answer can go. Does this require a large investment of my time, of your time, to do?
For me, it hasn't, because I do what we call constant IMMUNICS. It doesn't seem like a lot of time to me, because anytime I think of clearing something, I just do it. So, you know, maybe if I sat and added up all the seconds and minutes and hours that I've worked on myself, it's a lot of time. But to me, I can do it while I'm cooking, while I'm walking, you know, while I'm doing other things. So it doesn't really take a lot of time to me.
Maribel, what would you say about it? Does it take a lot of your time?
Oh, it takes a little bit of my time, but it's not like, you know, the whole day in that.
Okay.
But you test so fast, and you have the answers so fast that it takes short time.
Okay. Angela, what would you say to that? Does it seem like it takes a lot of your time to cure things, or just to do immunics?
No, I'm kind of like Al. You know, when it comes to me, I'll think about it, but I don't think of it in terms of time. I know that if I haven't been sick since I started doing immunics, but it sure took a lot more time to be sick than it did.
That's what it is for me. It's time well spent because it's time I was wasting otherwise. And so now, no, it takes no time. I'm calmer and more with it right away.
Okay. Bono, what about Franny? What about you?
Well, I'd say it takes a lot of time and thought if you have a really serious illness, but I do it all the time, so I don't really know how long it takes. Because as soon as I feel something, like if I felt a flu coming on, I would just start removing it that minute. So then it's probably pretty quick. I think it takes a long time once you let it go, get into a full-blown illness. It requires more work.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the thing that causes people to fail. Why? Here's the deal, okay? Why is it that lots of people encounter this, but you only see a few people, even though maybe there's a few hundred or a few thousand, there may actually be a few thousand visible people at this point, okay? But still, I mean, let me tell you something. You know how many people come to the Cure Drive website every day? Around 1,000 every day. How long do they stay? Listen, if you made it to this point in the movie, you're doing great. Most of them, we have statistics. 8 seconds. That's how long they're on our website. 8 seconds. They found the cure. And do you think that, let's take that, you know, it's actually around 1,200 people. Do you think maybe those 1,200 people, how many of them do you think actually wanted to cure something? Who got here and they had some, maybe they didn't want to, but they had something to cure. Maybe they didn't really want to cure it. You know, they weren't ready yet. But how many of them do you think had something to cure? Would you say maybe 1,150 of them? So why is it such a tiny percentage? Well, let me tell you, I'll tell you why. You know that quote in the Bible that says the race is not to the swift? You know that quote? Remember that quote? The race is not to the swift. Most people have heard this, okay? That quote says it. It tells you. Like there's a guy, I'll tell you the story. There's a guy who was in the first frame of the movie, who never says anything in this movie, but he cured herpes. It was about a year ago he found the web college, more now I guess, and he cured herpes. This guy had no money. He was actually diagnosed medically as being like mentally deficient. He's not, but he was medically diagnosed that way, but he isn't. That's just bullshit, okay? But that's what they said about him anyway. And he had no money. He ended up donating, but we had to give him a password, you know, to get him started for a month or two or something like that. Anyway, so here's this guy you would never dream. I mean, we have people with doctorates who come in here, MDs, and they don't cure. And they come because they want to cure something. They're looking for a cure, these people. Don't cure it. And he cured it. How did he do it? The race is not to the swift. You want to know how he did it? He's got an iPhone. That's how he cured it. What do you think stops people from curing these things? Nobody has any time. They can't do it. They don't have time to cure it. So they're gone. You know, they mean to come back. They set a bookmark. You know, they watched a little. They're coming back. Never happens. They have no time. And he had time because he walked around listening to these, you know, there's a 3-hour movie, another movie that you watch when you start doing this. He walked around, he said he watched that thing 3 times. Well, he didn't really watch it. He was working. You know, he was working at a pizza parlor. He had a headset on, and he was listening and taking the pizza orders. He can hear the people while he's listening. So they let him do it, you know. He'd been working there for years, and he's very good. He doesn't work there anymore. He got certified to drive an ambulance. So that was his next thing. You know what he said? He tested the answers. He used IMMUNICS to pass the test. The race is not to the swift, it's to the people who get what they need. He got what he needed to cure what he had to cure. And that's how you do it. You know, since you have a decent amount of experience, Rosella, has IMMUNICS ever taken a lot of your time? Like when you first started doing it, or at all, ever? Has it ever taken a lot of your time?
Not in the beginning, even because I use all the spare time, like for example when I'm driving to work, and it's a half an hour drive, and when I get back home, and when I'm taking a walk, when I wake up in the morning, or if I watch TV, when there is a commercial, I spend that time to connect and do some IMMUNICS. Right now, it's taking a lot of my time because I'm curing emphysema. So I'm working a lot. And I'm also working on my cigarette addiction, cigarette craving. And so at the moment, I'm spending a lot of time doing it.
Okay. So it's taking more of your time now because you're really trying hard to cure something.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And you're willing to do whatever it takes, right?
Yes.
Okay, very good. What you just saw was filmed around 6 weeks ago. She stopped smoking. She finally did. She was down to 2 cigarettes a day for a while, and she was down, she was up. We were all talking to her. How could somebody with emphysema smoke? Come on, you know. Well, see, it wasn't that difficult for her to keep smoking with emphysema when it was, you know, her and her husband and a few of her students who knew about it, and maybe not even. You know, her husband knew, but, you know, that she had emphysema. I mean, most people, I don't know if she even told them, but, you know, she's been talking on Facebook to thousands of people about IMMUNICS for months. And she just couldn't keep smoking and doing that. Well, I mean, she's got 1,200 Facebook friends, and I've got around 1,000, and Greg's got almost 2,000, and then there's all these other people that she talks to, and their friends, because everything we say on Facebook is public. You know, we set our settings so anybody can see what we say. So she's probably got like 10,000 people who have access to what she's talking about. I think it might have been a little embarrassing to continue smoking. You know, but yeah, she cured it. You know, she just kept doing IMMUNICS on it. And her craving got smaller and smaller. And the anxiety disappeared, and the other stuff, you know, the things that we cure disappeared. The smoking, see, smoking is an immune dysfunction. In the absence of making a valid immune response, which she was finally able to do, the dysfunction is people smoke, you know, to substitute so that that fear or anxiety or tension or whatever it is, that they're using the smoking. The smoking is a substitute immune response. That's what an immune dysfunction is. It looks like immunity. Like a lot of people think that their cowardice actually is a real immune response, but it's actually an immune dysfunction that is, you know, And it works. You know, it actually immunizes. Cowardice does immunize people to certain things. And so does smoking, you know. Smoking definitely relieves depression. You know, when like depressed people often smoke to relieve their depression. And it works. But you know, it doesn't. They've done studies on this. It's a dysfunctional way of stopping depression. And when you do what we're doing, see, this cures everything. When you cure anything, you're curing everything. Like when you cure, if you ever noticed, like if you've seen any of the other movies especially, like when you watch people cure herpes and their depression disappears or their anxiety disappears, or you know, they have these other symptoms that they're dealing with as they are curing the herpes, and all that, it all disappears at once. It's just gone. You know, I never had a herpes outbreak after the day I cured my herpes. That was the last day. That was the last herpes outbreak I ever had. I never had medically diagnosed cancer, by the way. The cancer I cured was in other people. But I could still wear the shirt because I cured cancer in other people. Without me, they never would have cured it. I know that. And that's not ego. It's just a fact. But also it's a responsibility. See, when I say something like that, I'm taking responsibility for my ability to respond. Like if your sister has cancer and you call me, I can help you and her. So I have this ability to respond, and I'm taking responsibility for that. I'm saying, okay, I can do this, sort of like an invitation to you. See, this shirt, when I wear this, you know, like, you know, wherever I'm shopping, let's say, wandering around throughout the day, and it's an invitation to people who need help to talk to me. Which they do, you know. Same as this. See? Like, this is our bumper sticker that we put on our cars. I have these on all around my car. You know, backside windows, rear window. So, and people, you know, actually walk by my car and they ask me about it. They walking by. Happens all the time. I want you to know right now that if you don't choose to join us in boycotting pharmaceuticals, that's okay. You know, we're not going to reject you. We're here for you. We are here for you. We want to help you. We want to give you whatever help you're willing to accept from us. That's why we made the web college. Most people don't want to talk to us. They're afraid to interact with us. I mean, I've noticed a lot of people become my Facebook friends, and they never speak to me. That's fine, okay? It's all right. And of course, sometimes when they get into really serious trouble, then we hear from them, you know. And sometimes it's, you know, I mean, we can always fix just about anything. But sometimes there's damage done that, you know, it's scarring, it's permanent. You know, you're not gonna get past it. Renee, the woman you're going to watch, who's cured her MS, she's dealing with scarring. You know, the aftermath. Darren, the woman who's curing cancer, her doctor told her that she was experiencing the aftermath of the drug treatment that she was having. That was what was wrong with her. And we know you're scared and you want to do what the doctor tells you. And probably, if you're like most people, you're here because the doctor didn't have anything good to tell you, that he didn't have a treatment or he didn't have a cure, or you realized that the treatment he had wasn't going to work. So, you know, you walked in here. And, you know, you're a good kid when it comes to, you know, being under the influence of doctors. Medical science is a religion, and you're a believer. And we also know that when your doctor tells you something about yourself that he found on a test, that's a miracle to you. That's some kind of voodoo. You know, you don't quite know how he managed to know that about you. So you're, you know, you're in awe. And, you know, it's going to take a while to wean you from that awe that you have of doctors and make you rely on yourself. And we have the time so that you can, you know, assimilate what we've got here. It's okay, you know. And when you're ready to stand up, we're standing up. Okay, so you'll have some people to stand up with. We're holding the space. We're holding a space for you in the people in this world who are standing up. This is oppression, because these, you know, authorities and drugs are taking your power away from you. It's disempowering to use medical drugs. When you use them, you're disempowering yourself. And, you know, nobody's going to boot you out because you did that. Okay, we also know you're addicted to it, and we're not going to boot you out for being an addict. Jesus came for the sinners, as it says on the churches around my neighborhood, you know, and we're here for you, you know, the person who isn't immune, who can't cure it, you know, who's afraid and terrified, and that's what you're doing. That's why you're watching this movie. And right now you're just wanting to get hope from it, you know, but at some point you're going to need to get skill from it, or you're not going to cure it. Hope is not going to do it. Hope kills people. And we also know that you need your doctor to monitor the disease. You need to get tested. Generally, all of us use doctors. We just don't do their treatments. And the only people who don't use the doctor, who do this, are the people who are very poor. And some of them live in Africa or India or places like that they just can't afford. They have a computer, or like one guy's in East Yemen, you know, they have a computer, but they don't have a medical infrastructure, so they can do this, but they can't. They really don't have the medical option. But if you can get tested and have a doctor monitor what you're doing, that's going to be very helpful in curing it. You know, and like, the woman in the recording right on the home page, that would be on curedrive.org, the website that I showed you before, you know, early in the movie. Right to the right of this movie, there's a recording of a woman who cured 4 medically incurable diseases with this. And she got tested. You know, that's how she knew. You know, you know, it helps. Like, Renee, you've actually come a really long way with curing MS. And you have a lethal kind of MS. So you have a very serious medical condition. And I'd just like to know, like, you know, how you're doing with that and what it's been like for you.
I'm doing really well. Still working on my legs, but my energy is great. I still walk with a cane, but I'm walking 1.5 miles. And I have all my neighbors watching me and cheering me on, which is cool.
So this is different from not being able to walk at all, which is, I guess, what was going on before. Is that?
Well, I was able to walk, but not very long distances, and my balance was much worse. I tripped and fell and just had a hard time making step after step after step without having some issue with balance. And now I can keep putting one foot in front of the other and if something happens where maybe I'll trip, I can catch myself, no problem. It doesn't feel like, oh no, I'm going to fall. I actually have good reflex, and my balance is much better.
Okay, so you're, and that's because you've regained something. And what is that you've regained?
My muscle, definitely. My muscles, and I believe whatever works as far as balance goes in my head. I think that neural network that works with my legs, that's improving.
Okay, and I also want to reassure our viewers that your face is not this red in real life.
No, it's your camera.
There's something red. Can you tell when your scarring is healing and when you're not getting any further? Can you tell, like, when you're actually curing it? And if so, how do you know? How do you know you're getting better instead of worse?
Well, I know that I'm getting better instead of worse because my symptoms are going away. Like I said, I don't have as much fatigue. I really don't get fatigue anymore unless I've had a long, hard day at work and then boom, I'm out.
Right.
But,
so it's a disappearance of the symptoms.
It's not unexplainable fatigue that just pops up, and I don't know where that came from.
Right.
I'm also able, like I said, I'm able to walk further than I've been able to walk in a long time, a few years, I would say. I don't remember walking this far since maybe 2002, 2003. I have better balance. I believe that my feeling in my fingers and toes are a little bit better too. So the numbness is going away, which it's not supposed to.
Oh, so it's not supposed to. So you can tell you're curing it because its symptoms are clearing up that are not supposed to clear up.
Right. I'm not supposed to get better at all. I'm not supposed to improve. I'm only supposed to get worse, according to medical doctors.
And the other people who started with the same doctor as you are dead, as you were telling me.
Two people. One started with symptoms at the same time I did. She's dead, and another one, she started symptoms a little bit before I got diagnosed, and I didn't get diagnosed until 7 years after my symptoms started.
I see.
Yeah, and she's dead.
And she's dead.
Wow.
Okay. So you have a lethal disease, and you're curing it. That's the bottom line. Is you're fighting and winning. Yes,
this disease is not going to kill me. I refuse.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to. So, where do signals come from? I'm just asking everybody that. So, anybody who wants to answer, there's 3 of you here. Where do signals come from?
It's ineffable.
It's ineffable.
Sounds like cats, doesn't it?
It sounds like cats.
T.S. Eliot. Well, that's why I say God. I rarely talk about God, but it just comes from behind it all and inside it all. There's no place. I'm at a loss of words, and that's something for me.
Barb, where would you say, or Renee, where would you say signals come from?
My highest intention. My highest intention, my nowhere.
Renee, do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, I would say from God, my spirit guides, angels, whoever's supporting me in this life.
Great. Well, it seems to me like with what you're accomplishing, you must have some pretty good support.
I think so, for sure.
Barb, show what your signal looks like.
Usually like this.
Renee, show your signal. What does it look like?
I'll see if I can get it. It's either one of my fingers coming in or it's pinky going up.
Okay, Greg, what does yours look like?
I was saying, to make it really graphic, I can direct it towards my hand, and it's just like this finger. I just kind of goes like this, but it's more a total sensation inside that opens up, that comes alive. That's a yes, and so it's all of me. It's not my finger as opposed to the rest of me.
Right. Okay. That's good.
Well, in that sense, my signal really is my heart opening up or not, but
yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, like you all have, seen new people starting doing this. How long after you found this website, this approach, did it take for you to join the web college? Like, how long did you know about IMMUNICS before you became a member of the web college?
That's a good question.
Can you remember?
It was in 2010, I think January, when I discovered, January or February, I discovered it, and then I joined in June.
So about 6 months.
So about 6 months, because I was kind of running around trying to find a job at that time, and I wasn't ready.
Did you do anything with IMMUNICS before you joined the web college? Like watch movies? How did you stay in touch with it?
I did watch some movies, and I did try to imitate some of the people in the movies.
Okay, did that work?
So I was doing something. Well, I didn't get sick.
So it worked to some extent, even though you didn't join the college, you started getting results, right?
Right.
That's good. So well, there's like thousands of lessons in the web college, hundreds of hours of audios. How much of those have you actually used personally?
Oh boy. There's so many. I would say not even a quarter, because there's so much out there.
Right. And how did you choose what to use?
I actually looked at the titles and whatever spoke to me, so that was kind of like a signal, something that jumped out at me, and then I'd go, oh, I have to see what that's about, and then I would go into that subject, and then I would look through it and just start doing stuff.
How did you find in all of these hundreds of audios, like, how did you find the ones you needed to listen to?
Like I said, whatever spoke to me. The first few things I was interested in, of course, was specific to the disease that applied to me. And I listened to some of those audios. And then I said, okay, I should be working on skill 1 somewhere. And so I started with the basics and skill 1 and kind of skipped around after a while, because it was like, okay, I need to do something different. And then I just, whatever spoke to me. Trauma was a big one that spoke to me. and I don't remember how many traumas I had to get rid of, but quite a few.
Well, test this right now. Hold your hand up so we can see your test. And just,
I don't know if it'll come out, but okay.
That's okay if it doesn't, but let's just see. Did removing traumas help me cure MS?
Removing traumas help me cure MS. I don't know if you can see that.
So that's your signal?
That's my signal.
Okay.
Yes.
So removing trauma, it can free you up so that you can cure the disease, to take out these emotional components.
Mm-hmm. And trauma is even an allopathic theory too. They
Right.
say that you go through trauma before the disease starts to manifest itself in your physical body.
Right.
Well, I'm willing and to be surprised by something I did not think of or have no comprehension of yet.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of life too. I've really learned to look at that and take the opportunity that exists. And it's kind of really works in life. I just look at everything, and it may all seem sort of Monday. I'm just going about my day. Then there's one little thing that snaps, so I'm always finding the interesting thing or the new thing.
Well, Barb's nodding. What about you, Renee? Do you often get surprised? What, Barb?
I like that. I like for Greg's saying to get surprised.
Oh yeah, I find surprises all the time.
Thank you guys.
So this continues to surprise you, like how you cure these things.
Yes, because the way I look at it is, I don't know everything about myself, and it's going to take my whole life to figure out even part of myself.
Right.
And so if I'm not surprised continuously, then I'm not doing enough. I sneeze at one point, and I'll go, wait a minute, that sneeze wasn't from like pepper. What is that? Is that a virus trying to get me?
Well, you found the cause of your MS was a microbe? Prions. And do you kill those throughout the day? Do you keep finding them, or how's that going?
They haven't come around for quite a few weeks now.
Okay, so you've been pretty free of them for weeks, and your walking is getting better.
Right.
Okay, good.
That's getting better, and I can feel that the communication between my brain and my legs needs some improvement. The right leg seems to be okay, but the left leg still doesn't quite get the messages that I'm trying to send it.
Well, do you feel like you have to force yourself? Like, Barb, what do you say about that? Like, do you have to force yourself? I'd like to hear from everybody. Like, does it feel a lot of times like you really have to force yourself to cure things?
I do. When my stuff comes up, I force myself when I'm in the middle of it, and to just know that it's curable and not to leave it, like just keep pushing through till I find the clear place, or the well place. It's been getting easier and easier because now I believe it. I've done it long enough, so I know it's going to come around again. I think that just jump right in anywhere. Don't worry about, like, it looks like there's a lot of protocol and form, but really it's pretty free. It's pretty freestyle. And it's pretty unique to each individual. You get to kind of design your own program. Follow basic things, but there's a lot of support here. But really, it's you get to tailor make your own program.
Okay, well. We kind of went hand in hand with what I was saying before, that you treat this like your own, because it really comes from you. It really is your own. And regardless of what people say, it's not going to just be what you think. You have to find what it is for you, and you rediscover this ability that you have, or uncover it, or discover it for the first time.
I think you have to remember that any of you, like Renee's a good example, can be way more successful at this than some of us, the so-called old guard or the original people. You know, you shouldn't be shy to, you know, like overtake any of us, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are already doing some form of this, or doing, you know what this is, and are hanging back for some reason. But there's a lot of room for accomplished people and leaders and stuff. So maybe some of us, you know, maybe me included, we're sort of somehow pushing away people like that. I'm certainly ready to retire my spot.
That's a very beautiful.
Steal this book and replace me.
Steal this book. That's a very beautiful sentiment, Barb. Steal this book. Thank you.
Steal this spot. You can have my little spot on YouTube. One position open.
What do we mean by boycott? Well, when you boycott something, you're advising other people not to do it. I'm advising you to use God, who is dependable, instead of drugs, which are not. Okay, I don't know who you thought was doing the curing, but now people in all religions have miracle cures. There's a story, and also people who are not any particular religion have miracle cures. There's a story I heard. A doctor named Bernie Siegel collected these stories. And I don't know what religion this guy was, but as the story that Bernie Siegel told on one of his audio cassettes that I was listening to, guy was in the hospital getting a checkup, and they said, you have terminal cancer, and we have to do emergency treatment, which means you got to come back here and check yourself in tomorrow. And you're going to be in the hospital a week, and then you're not going to really be functioning after that. So you're going to, need to have somebody at home take care of you and so on. They were laying out this whole scenario. Your hair's going to fall out. You're going to lose your appetite, whatever. And he said no. This guy said no. He said I have to plant my garden. It's the spring. This is spring planting time, so I can't have the cancer treatment. And he went home and planted his garden. This doctor's telling this story. And Siegel kept in touch with these people, and he was saying 7 years later, 7 years later, he's talking to this guy. No cancer. Where did it go? And this is common, it's people in all religions have miracle cures. It doesn't matter. Buddhists have miracle cures. It's just that they don't have them dependably. There's a Christian minister. His name is Joel Austin, I think it is. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it right. I was listening to an audio book that he wrote, and he was talking about his mother had cancer 20 years ago. She did not have medical treatment. She walked, maybe they may have told her there wasn't any treatment for it at that point. She was walking around the house saying, take this from me. I know I know this isn't my time, take this from me. And the cancer disappeared. Same thing. 20 years later, she's still sitting in the front row listening to him preach. See, the thing is that if you ask his mother how she did it, she'd say she doesn't know, or she'd say Jesus took it away, or she'd say I prayed and it disappeared, or whatever. She doesn't know how she did it. The guy who planted his garden would say, you know, I planted my garden. Well, I got news for you. You know, I cured two medically incurable diseases, herpes simplex 1 and 2, and I haven't got a garden. No garden. How did I cure my herpes? See, I know how I cured my herpes. And, you know, and by the way, as you continue watching this movie, you will see people cure things, maybe not necessarily anything you're interested in curing, or maybe, but when you see, and when you watch other movies, you will see people cure herpes, Lyme disease, whatever it is. You know, you'll see people actually curing these things. And if you listen to the cure shows, you will hear people curing these things in the cure shows. We have a lot of cure shows on herpes and a lot of cure shows on cancer. And then we have some cure shows on other rare diseases. You know, we have like hundreds of people in these recordings. And it's absolutely and completely dependable and works 100% of the time for every last person who you listen to. And that's why when you listen to the people in this movie, they're talking about it like it's a fait accompli. Yeah, because they cured everything that came at them. Ross, the woman who, you know, the woman in Italy who you were watching before, who cured her smoking and other things, she cured many things, many things before she cured her smoking and her emphysema. And those were the big ones. The smoking and emphysema were the big ones, the ones that she held on to that smoking while she cured the flu. She cured all these things. And when she started talking on Facebook about IMMUNICS, she was talking about all the other things she cured. And she thought that she could get away with keeping the smoking, you know? Like, there was the thing she didn't really want to cure it. I mean, she, quote, wanted to, you know, but she didn't, like, if she wanted to, she would have, like she finally did. She finally got to the point where she really wanted to. So then she did, see? So we've cured what we want to cure. All of us, and it's totally dependable, works 100% of the time, and, you know, it's just, boom, gone. You know, you'll hear a cure show about a guy who cured terminal cancers talking, and the whole turnaround was about 6 weeks. It was wrapped around his heart. Then he cured it. And then he, you know, you hear him, I called him way after he cured it, and he said, oh, he said, that's ancient history. The cancer he was talking about is gone, long ago to him. It was only 6 months later or something. How long have you been using IMMUNICS to cure the cancer this time?
I guess we started 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so about 3 weeks, that's right. Test this question, have I improved with the cancer in the last 3 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, and is that real for you? Do you actually feel that?
Yes, I do.
So you're feeling better, and your CAT scan seemed like it was encouraging.
Yeah, and my blood tests have been my cancer markers have been coming down a little bit every time.
Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to say to Darren about this?
I don't want to be redundant, but I think what I heard about many years ago before IMMUNICS is what you may be experiencing is a healing crisis. Is that it's a good thing to have the pain because you're going through the end of it. So it's just something that came to me when you were talking about having pain and doing better at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barb, do you want to wait?
I need that paradigm because otherwise the pain's just like unbearable.
It is?
I do in some ways feel like I'm getting better, and the pain has gotten worse. So.
And you've refused the pain medication?
No, I'm cutting back.
Just cutting back on it?
I'm cutting back on hydroquinone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You what?
The things I was going to say, well, I'm not sure exactly what IMMUNICS routines you do, but whatever you were doing, I know that you were getting a result with it, so I would keep that up. And almost everybody I know that has been on hydrocodone for long gets complications with that somehow. You know that?
Oh yeah, it's nasty.
It is.
Just, and it was. I mean, I was on Oxycontin at some point before, and it was just hell getting off of it. So I'm certainly not.
I'm glad that you got off.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you were even able to do that, because most people, it means forget about it once they're on it. That's it. I mean, I won't say names, but you can pick that vibe up from people, and it's not surprising that you, whatever. You just have to watch it. That's really, it's difficult to deal with, I think. And then now you're doing this other thing with the.
A good question, Darren, for you to test is: do I feel powerful enough to dispense with the pain medication?
Yes, I do.
See, a lot of the pain thing is people just feel powerless, so they take the pills. And Darren feels powerful.
That's true. You sound powerful. Your voice every day sounds stronger and stronger.
It really, getting off the Oxycontin, I noticed that it was like this, demonic wave of emotion and physicality. It wasn't just pain, it was like emotional, physical pain.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as I saw that, I just had to get out of it, it was like possessing me. So this is much easier.
Thank you for all of us for dropping it.
Yeah, really.
Sure.
Yeah, really.
We all appreciate it.
You look better than a few weeks ago when we were on Skype. You look, to me. So,
I do?
Yes.
That's good.
Well, you look happier. I mean, you're like doing a lot more laughing, and you're a lot you seem like you're having more fun.
Oh, well, my God. 2 weeks ago, I had been poisoned. I took chemo. I took a week of chemo, and it made me so sick.
And then you dropped the chemo, which we also thank you for. That was very good. That took guts and courage. I wanted to ask you, had you ever had a membership to the Web College before this membership that you just got?
I don't think I did. I didn't even know about it when I was working with you guys way back.
And how long ago? I mean, how long was it when we started this time till you joined the Web College?
I don't remember. A few days.
It was a few days. So you were familiar. You spent a few days familiarizing yourself with it. And I wanted to ask Ron that. How long did you know about IMMUNICS before you joined the Web College?
Maybe, I don't know exactly. I'd say maybe a month or two.
Month or two. So you were familiarizing yourself with it for a month or two?
Yes.
And how did that go?
Well,
what was the familiarization process like for you?
Just the fact that it was available and I could learn a little bit at a time was encouraging. I had a lot of issues I've been going through that it helped me with. But as far as really accelerating, it didn't really happen until I started with the Web College. And there's so much information there. Sometimes it's a little daunting. You say, oh my God, there's all this to learn. But
well, how do you find what you need in the Web College?
You know what? I just kind of trust because there's so much there. I kind of go randomly unless I really have something specific I want to look up. If something comes to me, I say, yeah, I want to know that. I want to work on that. So other than that, everything seems to have some relevance. So that's why I'm not worried about, if I'm looking on a certain page, because I go from one page to the next page, something leads to the next. Wait a minute, I don't know that. I got to go to the page before that or get the explanation for that. So to me, it's like I was never a great student. I didn't like school at all, but this is a lot better.
So you do what you're interested in, and Matt Moody called me and asked me what kind of a study plan he should have, and I think I should get you and him together.
Yeah.
I think you could help Matt.
Yeah, it's there's so much there. You could just go on for years. Just just I can't believe how much is there. But I found it just to be helpful every day, just to kind of bite a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing of how to eat the elephant in one bite at a time. There's just so much. So I'm just really grateful it's there and you guys are there. It's such a wonderful feeling to know that there's support and I'm not here in the universe alone.
How do you find what you need in the web college?
Pretty similar to Ron. I kind of go in somewhere. A lot of times it's something you'll suggest, and it usually takes me a really long time to find things if I have to try and find something.
Right.
But if I just kind of meander, I usually can kind of navigate pretty deep and find my way back and keep the thread of it, because you can take detours all over the place.
Could I ask you something? This is a funny question, but have you ever had the experience of needing to cure something and you didn't know what it was or how to cure it, and you actually went into the web college and found something and did the instructions and you actually came away cured?
Well,
or better, or like feeling better, let's say.
I think when I did the DNA recoding, I had to work hard on that one too. And because it led me, there was something about it where you start to clear the DNA or get it right the way needed. And you had to check, I think, your higher bodies for different things that might be in the way of clearing it. And those were really significant.
Am I happy? Yes.
Okay. Now, is cure something that you do or something that you be?
I be the cure.
Whether it's a being or a doing.
Is cure something that you be or do?
Be.
And how would you be your cure?
It will make me happy or something. I don't know.
What do you have to say about it, Darren?
I think that in the beginning of working with IMMUNICS, there's a lot of doing. There has been for me, it's like learning to exercise or learning to dance. You have to do it. You have to do it in a way as you're learning the steps, and then
right.
It becomes a being, and then you're just you are the dance. Can I say something?
Yes, Rhea, please say something. That's great.
When I started doing IMMUNICS, I had a flu the 1st of January, the 1st of February, and the 1st of March. Bad. I live alone. I almost called an ambulance. I was delirious.
Wow.
For one day, it was bad. And after the 3rd month, I thought, something's trying to tell me something. So I had bumped into IMMUNICS, just searching around, and that came to mind. So I came downstairs, got to the office, turned on the computer, and I lived IMMUNICS for months.
Wow.
And I think that did it for every day, until I got it. So I could be it.
You know, I think you got something there, because this is what everybody needs to do, is they just need to totally immerse themselves in it at the very beginning, and you can always back it off later. But you've got to, like, if you want to really cure something, you got to do this all day. Thank you so much. I think that's such an insight. And, you know, Darren, you've done that.
Yeah.
You know what you were saying before, I just want to come back to, because you were saying the cancer is getting cured, and now all the other problems are coming up.
Yeah.
Darren, I would also look at my spine and question what's hanging around why it's hanging around, and what you can do to get rid of it. Not the cancer, but something else around what you're perceiving as cancer.
Yeah, I get that. I think that's really powerful.
We call them cofactors. You know, because your numbers on cancer are good, but your physical body is having tons of other problems. We call them cofactors. And the bottom line is you got to do it all.
Yeah. And you know, so just to give you, I can see that Jared's laying down, but probably not walking around a lot and working, but you are, and I made index cards. And I carried them everywhere. I was standing in line, I pulled them out and I did them. If I was driving, I did them all the time, all the time. I did the shields, I did the God connectors, I did all basic stuff, all the time. One right after the other, constantly, until it was in my head and I could just do it driving down the street. And what really got it into my head is, I have to share this with you guys, I was driving down the road on the highway, all of a sudden I heard, "You're really fat." And I thought, well, I'm a little overweight, but I'm not really fat. And I looked next to me and there was a very obese woman in the car. And oh my God, we are picking up each other's thoughts. That we're all coming back and forth. So something's, just from doing it all the time, I got it. I got something.
Well, this makes very heavy usage of everybody's natural psychic abilities. So one thing that happens when people start doing this is they develop their psychic abilities. Like, Greg, what do you have to say about that? Because I know you've experienced that very strongly.
Yeah, I know what Rhea's talking about. Franny just walked in too. She's in the background.
I'm going down to the Senior Olympics.
Hey, Franny, come here. Stick your head over here, Bono. Come here. I wanted to say that you're so psychic you don't even realize when you're reading people's thoughts. Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, that's been a kind of a lifelong puzzle to me, because when things pop into my head, I often wonder if that's my thought or somebody else's thought.
Right.
And you have to distinguish that.
Yeah, so I have
You have to
like,
distinguish that.
If anybody has negative thoughts about me, I have to dismiss those immediately.
Well, if
Now,
you need to
when
test,
I'm working
you
with
need to
somebody,
test those
when I have those
things.
thoughts, I say, oh, that's it. I have all my attention on the other person. So anything that's coming to me, I just look and say, oh, that's where it's coming from. I mean,
Right.
I'm very clear about that.
That's right.
Anyway, they're going to start.
All right, well, I'm going to.
Senior Olympics
Thank you all. Thank you all. This has been illuminating. Well, I'm on the cure team. See that? There's my official shirt. Get yours today. Hey, check out my cap. What do you think about that, huh? See, can you read that? Let me just put it up here. See that? This all started when I cured herpes. Long ago. 1993. People ask me, how'd you learn this? Who taught you? God taught me. You know, I was just doing this to feel good for months and months. You know? I never knew you could cure a physical disease, and then I got a really serious herpes outbreak. It was like a major herpes outbreak. And that's when I thought to ask. You know, I was doing some movement exercises, and I just thought to ask the question, can I cure this herpes? It's actually the question, you know, it was sort of like a little spirit whispered in my ear, you know. Did you ever have the feeling like that there was an angel pounding on your back? hey, listen, you know, and you can't hear it, but there's like this, something's trying to talk to you, and you're like too dense to get it, you know. Well, there was just this little thought that came in, you know, test if you can kill it. And I tested, can I kill it? And I got, see, this is what my signal looks like. And I got a yes. Actually, at the time, my signal looked more like this, see that? That's the way I was testing back then, but now it's just a little, now it's the tiniest little, you know, little thing. You know, Renee, the woman who was curing her MS, it probably took her 5 years. She probably had, but from the time she was diagnosed till the time she discovered IMMUNICS. Do you know what she told the doctor? No, I think she said in the movie. I think she said it when you were listening to her before. But I'll just repeat it. She said, "I'm not going to die from this." They told her, "You're going to die." They said, "This is a lethal disease. It's the lethal form of it, and you know, it's going to get worse and worse, and you're going to be more and more incapacitated, and you'll finally die." She said, "I'm not going to die. I'm going to cure this." And still, the disease ripped through her. It ravaged her, because she didn't have this weapon. You know, it took her years to find this. I don't know, you know, we just failed. You know, we failed to make it widely known enough, so she found it. And we're trying to do better. That's all I can tell you, is we're just trying to do better. You know, it's one reason why we talk every day on Facebook. It's why I see this shirt, it's why I wear this shirt around, or, you know, my cap. You know, I put my cap on here. You know, wear my cap when I go out, because a lot of times people, well, I don't always wear my t-shirt, you know, but I can always wear my cap, you know. And see this? Yeah. And because, you know, like, we failed to get the information to her, and Renee's legs got damaged, you know? And I don't like that. I don't want to see her legs get damaged or anything. Like, Renee's a precious, amazing, wonderful person and a fighter, and she deserves this, you know? She really deserves it. Look, see this? That's why I have 4 of these on my car. I have one on the front, on the windshield, too. You know, and that's why, because somebody out there, see, it's not for everybody. You know, I have this all over my car. Most people don't notice it. Most people don't look at it, you know. Or if they do see it, it doesn't make any difference to them. It doesn't mean any particular thing. They don't actually understand what it is. And then there are people like Renee and you know, you who have stuck with this movie all this time. You know, you deserve this. You're obviously somebody who relates to it. You connected to it, and you deserve it. And so it's for them. It's for people like you and me, you know, who do relate to it. We understand it. We see it, and you know, we want to do it. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you and everybody, this is for everybody, all the newbies, the new people watching this. I'm going to tell everybody the formula for curing anything. This is how you cure anything, what I'm going to tell you now. Now, in your case, it's smoking, okay? So I want to contrast that with herpes, because a lot of people call me and they're asking me about curing herpes. And you do it the same way as you cure smoking, which is when you feel like smoking. Like, you've been down to about, what, a few cigarettes a day, you were saying?
3.
All right, so you're down
2 or 3.
So you're down to 2 or 3 cigarettes a day. So what you do when you feel like, okay, I gotta have a cigarette now, I'm gonna have one of my 3 cigarettes, you say, okay, instead of that, I'm gonna do IMMUNICS.
Okay. Yes.
So instead of that, you take that time and you do IMMUNICS, and you remove the traumas. Like, that's going to be your time when you find these traumas that you say they're the key. So you're going to sit down, you're going to take a walk out in the forest or so. do whatever you do when you smoke. Just take that time for yourself and go out in the forest and look for the thing, the trauma. Now, for a herpes sufferer, it's the same thing. When I started with herpes, curing my herpes, I cured it right away, like on the first day. I never had another outbreak after the very first day. Every day I found herpes in my gravitational body. It just never came into the physical body. You follow me?
Yes.
So when you feel like smoking, or the person, the person with herpes, what you have to do is change over to wanting to feel calm. Like when a herpes sufferer starts worrying, oh, maybe I still have it, that's the time when he needs to stop and check to see if he's still got it. Instead of just going on, pushing that down and getting an outbreak later. Because if you find the herpes, you won't get an outbreak. If you find the trauma, you won't smoke.
Yes.
You know weird?
Yeah.
With my eating addiction?
Yeah.
I found there were empty places in my bodies that I was trying to use the enjoyment of eating to fill in.
Uh-huh.
And what I did was I filled in those empty places with healthy things.
Uh-huh.
Like supplements, herbal tea, happiness.
Right.
Telling people I love them.
Right.
I just tried to do positive actions to fill in the empty places so that there was no room for the addictive behavior to fill it in.
Mm-hmm. So
smoking could be that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, see, I think a habit like smoking or eating is the thing that you just fall back on when you don't know what else to do. So the thing to do is to try it, like what Bayard's saying, is to try that and then see what else you can do. It's like taking an action that is satisfying but doesn't hurt you, like smoking or overeating.
Yes. I also tested that in the past. I smoke to, I'll feel an empty space. And I install the presence of God in the empty space.
Right. So
there's no room for smoking there then.
Yeah. Okay.
See, here's the thing, with what I notice with herpes sufferers is they're trying to cure their herpes, but they're not trying to feel good. And they tolerate feeling bad or nervous or upset or angry or afraid or whatever. They let themselves have those emotions, and what they need to be doing is looking for the herpes.
Yes.
If they feel upset, look for the herpes. If you feel scared, look for the herpes. If you feel angry, look for the herpes. If you feel agitated, if you're not relaxed, if you're tense, look for the herpes. And that's the same thing with smoking. You know? See, you need to not tolerate. If you, at any time during the day, if you feel depressed, or if you even think you might be and you just test and you get that you are depressed, you immediately need to remove smoking, remove depression.
Yes.
And then if you have time, then try to find another trauma and take that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Bayard, with different kinds of addictions, different emotions are associated with them.
Uh-huh.
So like with herpes, it's like fear.
Uh-huh. Yeah, herpes is fear.
I think with smoking, the emotion that I most know, when I talk to people who smoke, they always say, I smoke because it makes me feel calm.
Yes,
when they don't
true.
smoke, they feel nervous.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
So you could, install a reaction, an automatic reflex to go to the calm, clear place whenever you feel like smoking.
And this is how you cure anything, and it's what everybody needs to do, whoever tries to start this. So, let's just give, in completing this meeting, which we're going to complete the meeting now.
Which means getting signals, asking questions, taking the immunic actions that you test, and even curing things around the major issue.
Yes.
Everything you clear up all adds up together into a whole heightened immune system. It's all going to help you.
I mean, Al, you've lost 150 pounds doing this.
And kept it off for over 10 years. Without effort. It's not difficult. I don't diet. I eat what I want. And I'm not 400 pounds anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll never be 400 pounds again. Because I didn't diet. I made an immunic alteration in who I was being. I wasn't being a fat person anymore.
Yep. Right.
Right.
I also say trust the knowledge you're getting, regardless of how the words we use and the labels we put on things. That's something we use to communicate.
Right.
And if all else fails, I just connect. Like I go inside myself and see if I can get that lightness of being going, and I feel connected to myself and to the world.
And then you see from that place.
I mean that helps to make me calm to begin with.
That's great.
Personally, I like to use the breath a lot. The observation of breath is a tool to help one get in touch with the deeper psyche.
Yeah.
The observation.
I find someone's connecting at that level, they can see the deeper truths and access it much more clearly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, and I want to add that I think to a new person, can I give a note? That I think it's important to be very sincere and honest about your level of intention to be cured or be well, like be on the other side of whatever it is that you're confronting, and can create a vision even for yourself when you're well, what you'd be like if you were well, how you'd be different, and like what you were just doing, Ross, to be vigilant about looking at what could cause you to fall back, like once you're well, what would cause you to lose your cure, because really what we're doing right here is pretty easy. Like what Fran said, you just can connect and you're there. And then kind of what we're doing, it's like training wheels. We're helping people get stable at that place of being clear. But then the same things will hit you that caused you to get sick in the first place. So this is about building the immunity and practice and that's what it takes. So, a lot of us have been doing this for a long time, and I can tell you it definitely works, and you do have to do it, and you do have to practice and pick yourself up or allow yourself to be picked up when you fail or fall. Okay. But I also note that you never go back as far as you were when you started. It definitely, we have cumulative effects from that.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a cumulative effect. So whatever you do, you're stronger later. Everything you do makes you stronger.
Yes.
And also this is where to find us. You notice this is my Facebook page, Bayard Henry Barnes, right here. See this? Now, okay, on this page, if you look down this page, you're going to see these people and other people. There are many, many people writing on these movies. They're writing here's like all this whole line of people writing comments on this movie. And if you put your cursor over anybody's name and you see them there, and you can just friend them, they're right there, and you should friend all these people because they're all there for you. Do you guys like it when people friend you, like strangers friend you and ask you questions about how to cure things?
We're very friendly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to talk to any of us, and it won't cost you a penny to do this. You can just join this, be a part of it. You know, you can participate in it. You know, and have all these people with you to help, to help you and inspire you, and just like be succeeding if you're not, so that you can, you'll have somebody who is succeeding to talk to if you fail at some point.
You're not going to cure alone. You really aren't. You need to be with other people who are curing their diseases. You need the support of other people who are curing.
Yeah, you need that group. It's a group memory of cure. And at the same time, I am absolutely convinced that people cure things 100% for themselves. Even when we do it, do things for them, and we, like Maury was saying, how you go inside people's bodies and you like adjust things. You were talking about that. But even when somebody does that for you, you are curing it. If you're not curing it, it doesn't get cured. And this is what people also have to know, that you need people and you need yourself.
Yes.
So I just want to say here, I am completely committed to every one of you winning. And I'm testing that that's true. And I just want you all to test, just say, I am completely committed to everyone on this call winning. And also everyone who watches this movie winning, and see if you get a yes on that and call out.
Yes.
Right away, I got one.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else want to add anything before we stop?
I want to thank you from the very bottom of my soul, you all. You've been wonderful as usual.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me participate with you, Ross.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ross.
The more, the merrier.
More the merrier.
We have more people here. Thanks for coming, Maury. That was brave.
Yeah, Maury, thank you.
Maury, I'm really glad you came to this and were with us. Now, I want everybody just to test a question, which is the basic question we always start people out testing. Like whenever we show somebody how to test, and you put up, everybody put up your hand so people can see what your signal looks like, okay? So Nate, put your hand up, and Greg, you too. And, just test, can I cure things, and see if you get a signal.
Can I cure things?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
I get a yes.
And
My signal is primarily I feel energy moving in my left hand.
Okay.
It's not so much a visual thing.
So it's energy, and that's not visual. The other people were visual, plus everybody's signal is different. So people need to know that. So the person watching this should be doing they should be testing these things, like test, can I kill a virus, and see if you get a signal.
Can I kill a virus?
Can I kill a virus? Yes.
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 Okay. Can I remove cancer from my DNA?
Can I remove cancer from my DNA?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay. Now for you, Nate, and I guess everybody ought to test this. Just test, do I have cancer in my DNA? A lot of people have never been diagnosed with cancer, but it's there.
Cancer in my DNA. I get a yes.
Okay.
I get a yes.
Okay. So now, just say, if you got a yes, I'm now removing all cancer from my DNA.
I now remove all cancer from my DNA.
Okay.
Yes.
Get a yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you would want to check yourself for it again. You know, as you go along with this, you would want to check yourself for it. Okay. You would want to keep checking yourself for it. I mean, over the next months, weeks, days, you know, because this is a long-term thing. You know, you have cancer in your DNA and it doesn't show up in your physical body for 25 years. But if you take it out now, that's the difference between getting it or never getting it. So you guys all with me on this?
Yes.
Okay.
I just came up with something I'd like to test, Byard, if I may.
Sure.
Do I have poverty in my DNA? Get a yes for that.
Okay, remove that. Because you were...
I am now removing poverty from my DNA.
Yeah, because you were saying that, like, the thing that you... See, the thing that you want to cure is not having enough money. And you were saying that you, like, earn $200 an hour giving voice lessons, and you're a successful musician who, you know, is respected and even revered by other musicians, and you know, a known voice coach, and you want more. You know, so this is good. You know, because the way you cure that is it's like everything else that you cure. You got a signal before, you know, that you know, your finger moved when you asked if you could cure things. And I want you to everybody test this question. Is that a miracle?
Is that a miracle? Get a yes.
I get no.
Al?
I got no.
And Greg?
I get yes. I was testing this yesterday and I got no. I mean, I've got ways to talk about that, but that's...
Okay. So now we're getting all different answers. And see, that's the point. That this is a question that has two answers. This is a question that has two answers, yes and no, because what I'm noticing when people win with this, it's because they realize when they start doing this that they have worked a miracle, God has done a miracle for them, and that they can do it again. And as they do it over and over, it becomes just normal. So when people test no, it's normal. You know, it's not. This isn't a miracle. It's just the way. It's just what happens every day. You know, and see the people who run into problems with this are the people who, you know, they're sitting there and they're saying, yeah, that's a miracle. Sure, you know, I see that. You know, oh, it's great. You know, but I need another miracle. I need a better miracle. Where's my, you know. I mean, I've got to get rid of this cancer, or I need a negative medical test on my herpes, or whatever. And they're like really not appreciating what they've already got, or their ability to keep going forward and do it again in a deeper and more powerful way, and get another one and another one. See, we have to start by recognizing the smallest miracle. Like, you could test this question. When you got that you removed cancer from your DNA, was that a miracle?
Is it a miracle when I removed cancer from my DNA?
I get no.
Okay.
Getting a yes.
Okay. Al?
I got it was a miracle when he removed cancer from his DNA.
Okay, and Greg?
I get yes, it's a miracle.
Okay. So see, that's like something we feel more like that's a miracle because that's a little bigger. You know, that for most people, I mean, see, the idea most people have is, you know, if you've inherited cancer from your parents, it's over. I mean, you're going to die of lung cancer. You know, the very first person I ever knew who cured cancer used a grape diet. He didn't actually know anything about Immunix. I didn't know there was any such thing as Immunix. I hadn't discovered it yet. This was like many years before I discovered Immunix. He said, like, that's a miracle. You know? He was saying that his whole family had died of cancer. And you know, when Renee was talking earlier in this movie, and you remember what Renee said, she said that the doctor told her she's not supposed to get better in any way. She's just supposed to keep getting worse and worse and finally die. And she kept getting better and better for the last year, and started walking longer and longer and longer distances. She cured lethal MS. She had the lethal kind, and she cured it. And she did it because she said, "No way, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not going for that." You see, and that's because she saw herself produce a miracle, and she realized it. I mean, what do you have to say about this?
I was just saying I'm really grateful for the good feelings that come with this practice.
You see, that's the people who win, is the people who say, wow, you know, this, I feel, do you feel more powerful?
Yes.
Well, they like...
much more calm and happy also.
Right. And they like that. So they just say, okay, this is great. I'm just going to sail forward. Those are the people who cure the stuff.
I am now removing poverty from my gravitational body. Yeah, that's really strong yes there. Have I removed all poverty from my gravitational body? Yes.
Do you feel any different just right now?
Yes.
How so?
A profound sense of joy, actually.
See, the winners like this. Like they say, oh, okay. And they, like, do you care as much whether you have poverty in any of your bodies right now?
No.
And that's funny, isn't it? It's like, as you do this, people stop taking it out because they don't care about it. And see, so what you have to learn to do is when you care about it less, that's the time to continue removing it. You have to continue removing it when you're just taking it easy and you don't care as much about it.
You know, everybody's on their own evolutionary path, you know, but I believe it's not just, it's the key for me. I think that there's really, you see, you're right on the mark with all of it that you're doing, by the way. There is an awakening going on.
Yeah.
And I never believed in that stuff, but now I sense it. Yep. I feel it.
Yep.
It's not massive, but there are key people that for whatever are being called upon to do this type of work, and that are waking up themselves, and in the process through their own vibration or work are waking up other people.
Yes.
That there's another way.
That's right. That's absolutely.
And that's where the power in all of this lies.
Yeah, I see it all around me.
Yeah.
I see it all around me.
Yeah. So kudos for you.
Well, I want you to test something else. Hold up your hand. And hold up your hand and test, have any of my answers come from God?
Have any of my answers come from God? For any of them come from God? Have any of my answers come from God? Yeah, I mean, there's a. I feel it big. There's the whole temperature in my hand. All my fingers changed.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Thank you.